Hello and welcome to Lift the Cup Fantasy, and today is our waiver wire episode where we're going to look at some goaltenders, defensemen, and forwards that can hopefully help you not only this week but in future weeks. Do remember to check out the description, because I will mention in the description where in the timeline where we talk about goaltenders, defensemen, and forwards. And later this week we will be having our weekend ads episode, which will look at teams that play heavier on the weekend to hopefully get you the final players to push for that win in week 18. So we'll get right into it. Some goaltenders to look at. The first one I mentioned is Mike Smith from the Edmonton Oilers. He's owned in 55% of Yahoo leagues, and he has been injured a couple of times this year, but he's been healthy of late, and since the coaching change in Edmonton, he's 3-1. Edmonton's playing a lot better under Woodcroft, and that should accumulate more wins for Smith going forward. Next one is Elvis Merlikins from Columbus. He's owned in 65% of Yahoo leagues. He's 4-1 in his last 5 starts, so he has 4 wins. His goals against and save percentage aren't the greatest, but the fact is that he is getting you wins, and in fantasy, wins usually get you the most points out there. Next is, both Ottawa goalies. They do tend to alternate starts. Matt Murray, he's owned in 30% of Yahoo leagues, is currently injured right now, so I'd hold off, maybe more of a watch list to see how long he is out. But in his last 4 starts, he has a 2.12 goals against and a 944 save percentage, which is really, really nice. Anton Forsberg actually has some better numbers in the last little bit and only owned in 11% of Yahoo leagues. He's 3-0 in his last 3 starts with a 1.59 goals against average and a 953 save percentage. We'll move along to defensemen. I look at Oliver Ekman-Larsson from Vancouver, owned in 48% of Yahoo leagues, currently on the first pairing and is manning the top power play even with Hughes back. I do see that switching probably, where he mans the second power play and Hughes moves up to the first, but right now he's on the first, so a little extra for you there. He has 15 points in 49 games played. He's had a really slow start, but in his last 7 games he has 7 points, so he's been a point per game defenseman of late. Next one is Rasmus Andersson, owned in 43% of Yahoo leagues. He does play on that top line and top power play unit in Calgary. Year to date, he has 27 points in 48 games, and he has 6 points in his last 6 games played. So another guy that's averaging a point per game in the last little while. Next one is Damon Severson from New Jersey, owned in 25% of Yahoo leagues. He's currently on the first pairing and first power play unit. He'll drop down to the second power play unit because Hamilton's supposed to be back on Thursday, which will eat a little bit of his minutes. But year to date, he has 27 points in 48 games, and he has 6 points in his last 5 games played. So depending how they monitor Hamilton's ice time, he should be able to still produce for you. Next one is Noah Dobson from the Islanders, owned in 33% of Yahoo leagues, on the second pairing and first power play unit. Year to date, he has 22 points in 43 games, so he's back up there over the half point per game, and he has 4 points in his last 4 games played. Next one is Noah Hannafin from Calgary, owned in 22% of Yahoo leagues. He's currently on that top pairing with Anderson, and he's on the second power play unit. He has 24 points in 48 games and 6 points in his last 7, so almost a point per game the last 7 there. Next one is Justin Falk from St. Louis, owned in 72% of Yahoo leagues. So his ownership is up there, but he's still got a 3 in 10 chance of finding him. He's currently on the second pairing and second power play unit. He has 24 points in 43 games and currently on a 6-game point streak with 1 goal and 5 assists in those 6 games. Next one is Nate Schmidt from Winnipeg, owned in 23% of Yahoo leagues. He's currently on the third pairing and mans the second power play unit. He kind of jumps up between second unit and first unit on the power play. In year to date, he has 24 points in 49 games played, so right around a half point per game, and he does go in some stretches where he really puts some points together. Next one is Josh Morrissey from Winnipeg, owned in 42% of Yahoo leagues, currently on the top pairing and top power play unit. Year to date, he has 21 points in 47 games played, so he is under that half point per game, but he's been really good of late, having 5 points in his last 6 games. Next one is Oliver Shillington from Calgary, owned in 28% of Yahoo leagues. And year to date, he has 24 points in 48 games, and he does play on that second pairing and second power play unit, and he's actually been a fairly consistent defenseman throughout the year. Next one is Jacob Slavin from Carolina, up to 59% owned, so he is starting to get up there, but he's still about a 4 in 10 chance of finding him. He's on the top pairing and second power play unit. Year to date, he has 29 points in 48 games with 85 blocks, and he has 5 points in his last 5 games played. Next one is Jeff Petrie from Montreal, owned in 39% of Yahoo leagues, and he's had a really tough start to the year. He's on the top pairing and second power play unit. He only has 11 points in 44 games, but 5 of those 11 points have been in the last 4 games. So maybe we're starting to see the Petrie of last year that was really stockpiling some points there. And in those 4 games, he also has 9 shots on goal, 11 hits, and 10 blocks. So even those secondary stats, depending on your league, could really add up for you. And the last one is Adam Boquist from Columbus, only owned in 6% of Yahoo leagues, so basically available everywhere. He's on the second pairing and second power play unit. Year to date, he has 17 points in 36 games played, and he's really been starting to get more and more ice time, so he has 3 points in his last 6 games played. Moving on to forwards, we'll stick with Columbus to start, is Boone Jenner, listed as center left winger, owned in 45% of Yahoo leagues, on the top line and top power play unit, and he's been having a really good year. He has 39 points in 49 games played, with 132 shots on goal. In his last 6 games, he has 9 points, so he's been really hot the last couple of weeks. Next one is Yegor Sharangovich from New Jersey, listed as center, left wing, and right wing, so I do like that you can place him anywhere in your forward lineup. Only owned in 6% of Yahoo leagues. He's up to the top line and on the second power play unit. Year to date, he has 24 points in 44 games, and he's been really hot, having 7 points in his last 4 games played. Next one from New Jersey is Nico Hischier, listed as a center, owned in 25% of Yahoo leagues. Center's at second line and does play on the top power play unit. Year to date, he has 30 points in 44 games played, and he's also been really good the last couple of weeks, having 6 points in his last 5 games played. Next one from Calgary is Andrew Mangiapane, listed as left wing, right wing, owned in 66% of Yahoo leagues, so available in about a third of leagues out there. Plays on the second line and second power play unit. Year to date, he has 34 points in 49 games played, and like a lot of Calgary players, they're on a 10-game win streak. He's been really hot of late, having 10 points in his last 9 games. Next one is Jeff Skinner, listed as left winger, owned in 30% of Yahoo leagues. Plays in that top line in Buffalo, which has been really hot, as you'll see I'll be covering all of them, and top power play unit. Year to date, he has 36 points in 49 games, and he has 8 points in his last 6 games played. Next one is his linemate, Alex Tuck, listed as left wing, right wing, owned in 49% of Yahoo leagues. He also plays, like I said, top line and top power play unit, and he has 21 points in 19 games played this year, so he's over a point per game player. Last one to finish off the top line is Tage Thompson, who also plays in that top power play unit. Listed as center, left wing, and right wing, so again, I do like when you can place him anywhere in the forward ranks, and only owned in 46% of Yahoo leagues. He has 38 points in 47 games played, but like the rest of the top line, he's been really hot, having 13 points in his last 10 games played. Next from Calgary, another one that's their team's on a real hot streak, is Michael Backlund, listed as center right winger, owned in 21% of Yahoo leagues. Plays on that second line with Mangiapane and second power play unit, and year to date has 22 points in 49 games played, so it seems low, but like them, he's been really good the last couple of weeks, having 7 points in his last 7 games played. Next one is from St. Louis, Braden Shen, listed as center, left wing, and right wing, so you can place him anywhere. Owned in 69% of Yahoo leagues, so his ownership is up there. He does center the third line and is on the second power play unit. And year to date, he has 27 points in 33 games played. But the last couple of weeks, he's been really hot, having 9 points in his last 7 games played. Next one from St. Louis is Robert Thomas, listed as center, right winger, owned in 27% of Yahoo leagues. And really surprising it's 27% because he's been really good all year. He has 39 points in 42 games played, so basically a point per game player. And he's been really hot the last week and a half, having 7 points in his last 4 games. Next one from Columbus is Jakub Voracek, listed as left winger, right winger, only owned in 44% of Yahoo leagues. Plays on that top line with Jenner and first power play unit. Year to date, he has 34 points in 47 games played. And again, like Jenner, he's been really hot the last couple of weeks, having 7 points in his last 7 games played. Next one from New Jersey is Dawson Mercer, listed as a center, only owned in 5% of Yahoo leagues. He is up playing on the top line and on the second power play unit. Year to date, he has 28 points in 50 games played, so not the greatest, but he spent most of the season on the third line as a rookie, and as his play has been better, he's been bumped up, and now he is up on the top line, and it showed. He has 5 points in the last 4 games played. Next one is from Ottawa, Connor Brown, listed as left winger, right winger, only owned in 15% of Yahoo leagues, plays on the top line and top power play unit. In year to date, he has 25 points in 35 games played, so pretty good production, and he's been even better of late, having 8 points in his last 10 games. Next one is Kirby Dach from Chicago, listed as a center, only owned in 11% of Yahoo leagues. He was drafted 3rd overall a couple years ago, and they have big expectations for him. He has 20 points in 49 games played, but those expectations might be starting to come. He has 5 points in his last 6 games played. Next one is from Seattle, Yanni Gourde, listed as center, right winger, only owned in 16% of Yahoo leagues. Year to date, he has 28 points in 44 games played, and he's been really good of late, having 5 points in his last 6 games played. Next one is Cole Caulfield from Montreal, listed as a right winger, owned in 27% of Yahoo leagues, and he was expected to be running for the Calder this year, and he had a really, really slow start, got sent down, called back up, but he's up on the top line again, playing on the first power play unit. Year to date, he only has 16 points in 36 games played, but he's been really, really good the last couple of weeks, having 8 points in his last 6 games. Now that his ice time has increased, probably has some confidence with the puck, etc. Last one is from Seattle, Calle Jarnkrok, listed as left winger, right winger, only owned in 1% of Yahoo leagues. He's playing currently on the third line, but last week he was on the top line, so he really jumps up and down the lineup. On the top power play unit though, and he had a really, really slow start. He only had 2 points in his first 14 games played, I think it was, and he's been really good of late. He has up to 20 points in 40 games played, considering that slow start, and he has 5 points in his last 6 games played. So I do hope you enjoyed the episode. Like I mentioned earlier, we will be out later in the week with our Weekend Ads episode. If this episode did help you out, or if you do like it and want to see more, do remember to hit like, hit subscribe, and remember that bell so you get notified on future episodes. And good luck in Week 18, fantasy owners.